Good morning everyone. I hope you are doing well. Now in today's video, I'll be discussing the various questions that can come from ciliary ganglion. If you already had seen my previous video, you would have understood the concept of anatomy of ciliary ganglion. So it will be very easy for you to understand the questions. And if you have not gone through that, kindly go through it. It is a short video of around 20 minutes and then it will be very easy for you to understand all the questions. Now in today's pattern of NNC, the questions come as problem-based questions, the reasoning questions, the MCQs, the multiple choice questions, and you have to be very brief. You have to just write the exact answer which is required. Now how to do that? Starting with the problem-based questions. Now, the question can come as a patient comes with loss of accommodation. Loss of accommodation means that he is not able to adjust his vision when he is shifting it from a far-off object to a closer object. On examination, the pupils were found to be dilated. Now, answer the following questions. Now, just by reading this statement, you should understand one thing. Loss of accommodation, that is a function of ciliaris muscle. Another, loss of constriction of pupil, that is a function of sphincter pupillae muscle. Now, as we discussed it in the previous class, these two, ciliaris and sphincter pupillae, are supplied by the parasympathetic root of ciliary ganglion. So now the questions can come as maybe name the ganglion. So you should know this is a parasympathetic component. So name the ganglion involved. It is a ciliary ganglion. Another question can be name which autonomic nervous system is involved in this. So autonomic nervous system is of two kinds. One is sympathetic, one is parasympathetic. So it is very clear that parasympathetic nervous system is involved in this. Okay, now coming to next, which two muscles are involved? Very easy, ciliaris and sphincter pupillae. Similarly, it can be asked which parasympathetic nucleus is involved in this. So now you have to understand this. These are two different things. One is the parasympathetic ganglion and another is the parasympathetic nucleus. The parasympathetic ganglion is the ciliary ganglion. And the parasympathetic nucleus is the Edinger-Westphal nucleus. Maybe another can be trace the entire pathway. So as we discussed in the previous video, it is very easy to trace. You have to trace it from Edinger-Westphal nucleus. You can draw a flow chart. You can draw just this part of the diagram. No need to draw the other roots. You can show that the preganglionic, this word is very important, preganglionic parasympathetic fibers arise from Edinger-Westphal nucleus, join the oculomotor nerve, travel through its inferior division, travel through the branch to the inferior oblique, relay in the ganglion, ciliary ganglion, and then supply via the short ciliary nerves to ciliaris and sphincter pupillae muscle. So I think this is very easy to answer. Coming to another problem-based question, like there can be where a patient comes with no pain sensations in the eyeball, and or when a cotton whisk is touched to the cornea of the patient doesn't blink. So that is loss of corneal reflex. Now answer the following questions. Now what is this question involving? It is not involving the parasympathetic part, it is not involving the sympathetic part, it is involving the sensory part, because it is very clear that sensations from the eyeball are lost. Now you have to move all your brains to this part. So all the sensations of the orbit are carried by one nerve, that is nasociliary nerve. So the question can be, what is the nerve involved? It is a nasociliary nerve. This nerve is a branch of ophthalmic nerve. Ophthalmic nerve is a branch of trigeminal nerve. Now another question can be that which ganglion, what is the site of relay in this pathway? The question can be, what is the site of relay in this pathway? As I already discussed in the previous class, the relay in the ciliary ganglion occurs only in the parasympathetic route. Others are not relaying here. So always remember the relay station for all the sensations is the thalamus. Relay stations for all the sensory pathways is the thalamus. So you will say in this part, the relay station is the thalamus, from where the sensations will be carried to the higher sensory cortex of the cerebrum. So this is how the problem-based questions and other questions that come from the topics are the reasoning questions. And many students, they approach saying that they have written the entire answer, they have explained the entire topic, but still they have not got the marks. The reason being, you don't have to be so much elaborate in your answers, in your reasoning answers. You have to write the exact answer. For example, related to this topic, you can get a question that a patient with oculomotor nerve palsy has loss of accommodation, has loss of constriction of pupil. His pupils are dilated. Explain why. So you should know the right answer, that which part is involved in it. It is the parasympathetic route that is involved in it. So you can easily draw this part. No need to draw the entire diagram. You can easily write down that these two functions, accommodation and the constriction of pupil, they both are the functions of the parasympathetic autonomic nervous system, and its preganglionic fibers are carried through the oculomotor nerve and its branch to inferior oblique muscle. So, because you have oculomotor nerve palsy, because the patient has oculomotor nerve palsy, that leads to loss of accommodation and constriction of pupil. So, there is no need to write any other extra point in this. This itself explains why the patient has loss of accommodation in case of oculomotor nerve paralysis. Okay, now coming to the next part, that is MCQs. Again, the students are not able to solve the MCQs. So if you just go through my video, understand the topic once, it will be easy for you to answer the MCQs. For example, if you take this topic, what all MCQs can come? Starting from the beginning, you can be asked, where is the ciliary ganglion located? It is very easy, at the apex of the orbit. Okay, now between which two structures? Again very easy, you should know the optic nerve and the lateral rectus muscle. Okay, then we have, what are the branches of ciliary nerves? Again, you know that there are short ciliary nerves, they are around 16 to 20 in number, right? Then, starting with the roots, if you are asked about parasympathetic root, what can the questions can be? It can be, what is the parasympathetic nucleus for the parasympathetic root? Or from where are the preganglionic fibers arising? So the answer is very simple. The parasympathetic nucleus is Edinger-Westphal nucleus. Where is it? It is there in the midbrain, because you have the third and the fourth nucleus in the midbrain. And Edinger-Westphal nucleus is closely associated with the oculomotor nucleus, forming the oculomotor nuclear complex in the midbrain. Okay, then through which nerve are the fibers traveling? The preganglionic ones, they are traveling through the third nerve. Which branch of third nerve? Branch to the inferior oblique. First of all, inferior division, then branch to inferior oblique. Now, in case of parasympathetic system, where is the relay occurring? Relay is occurring itself in the ciliary ganglion. And how are the fibers distributed? Through short ciliary nerves. To which two muscles? So you can be asked, what are the two muscles supplied by the parasympathetic system? They are the ciliaris and the sphincter pupillae. Is that, I hope it's fine. Okay, now coming to the next part. You have the sympathetic part. In the sympathetic part, the preganglionic, as we already discussed, is very short. Whereas in parasympathetic, it is very long. So this can be another important MCQ question. In the sympathetic part, from where the preganglionic fibers are arising? From the C8 to T1 spinal segments, from their lateral gray column. Okay, where is the relay occurring? Again, the question which the students find very difficult, but it is very easy once you understand the topic. So the relay is occurring in superior cervical ganglion. It is not occurring here. In ciliary ganglion, relay is occurring only for the parasympathetic route. Okay, so for the sympathetic part, the relay is occurring in superior cervical ganglion. Another question can be, which is the artery involved? So they can give you 3 or 4 arteries and then ask which is the artery involved in the sympathetic route, or around which artery the plexus is being formed. So again the answer is simple, it is the internal carotid artery, and further its branch, that is the ophthalmic artery, which is going to enter into the orbit, right? Then it is passing without relay, as already discussed. Now to which structures? So sympathetic is going to the structure that is the dilator pupillae and vessels of orbit. It is traveling along vessels, forming a plexus around vessels, and also supplying the vessels of the orbit. Okay, now the next thing, that is the sensory. How will the questions be asked? So the sensory route is formed by, these are the roots, these are the branches. So sensory route is formed by the nasociliary nerve. Nasociliary nerve is a branch of ophthalmic nerve. Ophthalmic nerve is a branch of trigeminal nerve, which is a fifth cranial nerve. What is the relay station for the sensory pathway? I already told you, relay station for the sensory pathway is the thalamus. For all the sensory pathways is the thalamus. So it also does not relay here. Okay, and besides this, yes, another one important question is about these. I told you the long ciliary nerve, it goes without relaying here, and it also gives nasociliary nerve, it goes without relay through the ganglion, and it also gives the long ciliary nerves. So another very important MCQ can be, the long ciliary nerves are branches of and short ciliary nerves are branches of. So short ciliary nerves are branches of the ciliary ganglion, the long ciliary nerves are the branches of the nasociliary nerve. So if you just draw this diagram, go through my previous video, understand the basic concept, it will be easy to answer each and every question that comes from the ganglia, not only during your MBBS first year, also during your PG entrance exams. So that is all for today's video. I'll be linking this video to the topic of the ciliary ganglion so that you can easily go through it. And in my next video, I'll be discussing about the submandibular ganglion. If you like my video, kindly like it and subscribe it. Thank you.